Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Hallmark Mysteries.
I'm Brian. I like Hallmark Mysteries.
I'm Dan, and I despise Hallmark Mysteries, and this is the
Deck the Hallmark Podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host this podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to
Welcome
another
to Cough
episode.
into the Mic podcast.
I didn't cough on the mic. I coughed
on
off
me.
the side of it. That's right. I coughed on Brian.
I would never. Yeah, he did. Didn't even cover his mouth. He just
I covered my mouth a little bit.
didn't.
A smidge
right in
bean.
his face.
A
Not
smidge
enough.
bean.
A smidge bean.
Yeah, like a string bean.
All right. If you say so.
Sure.
Something I'm trying. Like when I'm talking about
You
a
gonna
little,
keep
like a little,
doing
like a,
just a little bit?
It's a smidge bean.
Smidge
A
bean?
smidge bean.
Don't
Yeah.
worry. it's
All right,
just a
we'll see if
smidge
it
bean.
catches on.
That's what I'm trying.
I'm optimistic.
Speaking of being optimistic, Rick Dilby, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, boy, it's good to be here.
It's great to,
okay there?
great to hear your voice.
I'm all right.
You just
Now-
can't wake you up from a nap?
Now,
Just grinding. I'm grinding. Always be grinding.
ABC.
baby.
Rig, you might be wondering, and I'm sure the listeners at home are wondering, why is he on the show so early? We're only a minute into the show. And I was told, somebody handed me a note. It just said, Rick has big news. And so, obviously, I'm so excited. I'm like Brian when I get an email and I have to go and rip
Open
open my
that
desktop
laptop,
computer
yeah.
because I'm so excited. What's the big news, buddy?
First batch of Kendo. First batch of Kendo.
First batch of Kendo.
First batch of Kendo. That's right. Down at Fitzy's, we've been working on a Kendo.
What's Kendo?
You know Barbie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ken. He's just Ken. You know him?
Yeah.
We're baking bread.
You're
Kendo.
baking bread
Yeah.
with Ken?
Yeah.
Kendo.
Yeah.
We're baking Ken bread.
Uh-huh.
What does that mean?
You'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the
Does
first
that have
batch.
something-
We've been working a long time on this. First batch of Kendo's up.
Is it a
Get
new
your
type
Kendo.
of bread?
You can pick it up raw. You can pick up the dough. We could also we could bake the loaf for you. Be a Ken loaf.
That seems like
Like
the best option.
what's the closest sourdough,
Kendo.
etc.
I've never heard of this. What?
What is it?
Sourdough. What's sourdough?
It's like a type of bread.
What? Sourdough?
Sourdough.
Why would I want sour bread?
I'm not saying you do. I'm just
You're
like
saying the first thing that came to mind when you thought of bread was sour bread?
no.
And you think I'm crazy for selling Kendo.
I don't know what Kendo
Just
means.
come on
though.
down and get you some Kendo.
Give me a flavor compare. Like okay, so the
Says
word.
some notes of citrus.
Okay.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Is it like a white? Is it
It's boggy.
how would you describe the color?
It's bread.
You know when you go to
Do
Sherwin-Williams
the math
and
there,
they
Sherlock.
say, would you like khaki or bread color paint?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kendo. That's big news, right?
Yeah, I guess.
First batch.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming in hot.
Literally.
When can we try it?
You can try it today if you come on down to Fitzy's.
Oh.
You didn't bring us samples?
No, we're doing a vape pen off down at the Fitzy's, though.
Mm.
Whoever can smoke the whole vape pen first wins and pull a loaf of Kendo.
That's the only thing they win is the Kendo?
Oh, that's a big deal.
right.
Kendo's huge.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's the first I've heard
It's
of
better
it.
than
And
your dumb sour bread.
you've done a really
Oh,
bad
I got
job.
Sour Patch bread. I got to put sour sprinkles
At
all over the
least
bed.
sour's a descriptor at least. Ken's
Yeah.
not a descriptor.
Yes, it is.
How?
I gave you citrus and boggy.
But what I'm saying
In that order.
what I'm saying is it doesn't like Ken doesn't tell me anything about the
It's
bread.
just Ken. Did you see the movie or are you not a feminist?
Both.
You hate women. You hate women and you like your bread sour. That's on you. It's on you, short stack.
Are you making any sandwiches on the bread?
Probably.
Where
You
you
haven't
gonna
gotten that far?
Yeah, we'll get there.
First batch of Kendo out
First
now. At
batch of
Fitzy.
Kendo.
Great. Thank you.
Man, we've got to stop. If it says he's got big
Yeah.
news.
Well,
Go
it's weird
into
as,
him.
like
There's
someone
no way
ran
he
in.
has- yes.
I don't know who it
I don't
was
either.
and handed me the note. Rig, who was that? That
Shiffy?
ran in. Who?
Shiffy.
Shiffy. Is Shiffy? I don't know Shiffy.
Shiffy's our runner. You know how the people in law offices have couriers?
You're sorry. So you hired someone for your
During Kendo season
weird
for sure.
for
yeah.
your weird
Yes,
bar
We have a courier.
that
Fitzy's courier.
just runs out messages.
Were they wearing the big hat?
Yeah, Yeah, we were in a big hat.
Big hat.
Yeah.
It was big. 40-gallon.
It was huge. That was the big takeaway.
Dip in through the door, right?
We would not stop
Because they'd
talking
be
about
fired.
that.
Jiffy would be fired if they weren't wearing the big hat.
No, big hat and running real fast.
Man, I hope that people are tuning in for Curious Caterer and they got this and they don't know who we are. That's how we get new listeners.
We're
They're like,
Hallmark.
man, Deck the Hallmark was just okay, but there was a whole thing in the beginning about bread.
Kendo.
Man, I want
I think
more
it
of that.
sold out because it wasn't anywhere to be found.
Wasn't couldn't find it.
Sells
I went to
out
my
fast.
local artisanal bakery, asked
They
for the
laughed me
Kendo.
out.
You guys got that kendo?
That's right.
Cooked
They
or
laughed
not?
me out of the room. They laughed me out of the room.
Mhm.
I was gonna see if we had any new reviews to read, but
Anything?
no,
Unfortunate.
there's no new reviews.
No
That,
new
that should help
reviews, huh?
stoke them, though.
Yeah,
right?
I
would
think
We'll leave
get
a
some
review.
reviews.
Just let us know what you thought of that specific part of the show.
The kendo. How do you
Thumbs
like your
up or
kendo?
thumbs down on
Extra
kendo?
citrusy or extra boggy?
Medium rare.
Yeah. Rig, how do you spell kendo? Is it a special spelling?
I mean, I don't think you need to like
For the
overthink
people
it.
leaving the reviews.
Yeah. Kendo. Kendo.
Interesting. Okay, I would have. All right. Let's talk Curious Caterer foiled plans.
Let's.
Things are going to get crazy down here. It's going to get kendo nuts.
I'm trying to figure out if it's like a play on words.
I
that
think he meant like donuts.
I see.
Oh.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
got
what he meant. But I
kendo
wasn't.
nuts.
Thanks, Dan. It's almost
Ken
like
Donuts.
you're inside the
He
brain.
did. Shiffy came back and I'm surprised you didn't see the hat.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
right.
The hat is
I don't know how he
huge.
fits through that door.
What's so funny is the first time you weren't in here yet. The first time he ran in this morning, he ran through the door. He tried to run in like at an angle,
it just
and the
depleted
hat
him.
the
Yeah.
hat hit, so he had to do one of those like
Yeah,
so it
things.
goes through.
It was
The whole
very
thing.
funny. Didn't say a word the whole time.
he
Handed us
He's
a
not
piece of
allowed
paper
to,
and-
is he?
Wow.
I don't think he can.
Yeah.
April 26, 2024,
nuts.
and it went a little something like this.
It's going to get crazy.
It's funny.
It's going to get kendo nuts.
Goldie Berry is at it again, everybody. She is taking a job to cater a big fundraiser that's happening at a castle, and it is medieval timed. It is medieval themed.
Yeah, we're going to time it with hourglasses.
The medieval,
like they did in the medieval time.
the
You
medieval
know how long
time.
those things are?
It's so
Man, it's
long.
crazy.
they're an hour.
And she's pumped about the
Really?
medieval theme. Would you be excited, Brian, about a medieval themed party?
A one-night thing, maybe I could get pumped up for one.
Really?
Of those one time. But there is one aspect of it that I think does it for me, and we'll get to that later on. I think it's
All
my
right. We're going
my
to get to
feel.
Brian's medieval kinks later. Back to you in the
That's
synopsis,
right.
Brian.
That's right. Really did it for me.
The idea of a medieval orgy.
We're gonna kendo nuts.
It's crazy out there. The fundraiser is for the Elk Park fencing gang.
Let's go Elk Park.
Which happens to be her daughter Olive's squad. She is into the fencing. And we find out that there's no cell service in the castle. I'm sure that'll be the only time we hear about it, but you need to know it. Do you? Who could say? Alistair is the guy who runs the castle, and he's in the middle of firing, basically, the fencing team's leader, coach. What would you say?
Fencing
Lead
coach.
fencer.
The
It's
fencer?
not leader.
The
It's
lead.
definitely not lead fencer. It's fencing coach.
Leader question. Do you do a little this, a little that?
It's not a
Fencer.
fence cold.
Get it?
Fence.
Fencer.
Yeah, fencer.
Connoisseur.
Save it for the double decker of the week. It's better
Yeah,
than
write
Super
that down.
Bowl.
That's way better.
check the
That's really
Google
good. Again, it's her company.
Yeah, it was the other
Dan.
week.
That was
Danielle's
me.
idea.
Anyway, Goldie walks up and he's like, "Hey, Goldie, I want to introduce you later soon at some point to a Michelin star chef. I know them, and I could get you in with them." The town's shows up. Tom's there. Remember Tom? Andrew Walker?
Tom from the town.
Tom isn't there very long, though, when he finds out that his dad has escaped from prison. Pretty big news there, huh?
Almost as big as Kendo.
Almost as big.
Yeah.
Goldie finds him and cheers him up, though, by asking him to dance with her. Is that the thing?
Nope.
You
won't guess it. I don't
Which
think.
they do.
It's pretty deep cut.
Pretty dark. Which they do. They do end up
Giant
dancing.
turkey legs.
The sparks are flying. Goldie sees Alistair getting in a little
As a
argument.
vegan, I can't support that.
Right.
They're turkeys. They're pretty much plants. Nobody's out there trying
No.
to save the turkeys. Like even vegans, I think, are like, well, turkey doesn't even taste very good.
Yeah.
Like,
Save
it's
the
fine.
turkey, save the world.
Save the world.
Goldie sees Alistair getting in a little argument outside the room, but it's time for him to come in and make a big announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a big announcement. And then he falls and he stumbles to his death. And then some blood starts
Instead he's
squirting
dead.
out of his back. It's like, that's the sound of the blood. Everybody knows that sound.
Yeah,
If
the
you guys
blood,
were playing
yeah.
Name That Sound, that'd be pretty clear. There is a handful of suspects. The fencing coach, he was getting fired. The woman that he may have been having an affair with. The court jester, because a part of his costume was found on his body, on his person, if you will. The guy that was announcing the names, he was missing, conveniently, during the time of the murder. And more! Luckily, though, everybody, we are going to get some help in this case. Obviously, Goldie, Tom, they're going to be working together. But so is remember last movie, there was that new detective in town?
Yeah.
And his dad
New in town.
put away Tom's dad way
Yeah.
back when.
Yeah.
Those two are there. So that's pretty dope.
Everybody's there.
Yeah.
Everybody's there. So some weird stuff starts happening, and they're just trying to like interview people, and no one's being very helpful, and everybody hated Alistair. So it's like, really, it could be anybody. It could be anybody. Now, even though there's no cell service, it doesn't stop her daughter from taking some selfies. And in the background of one of the pictures, they see somebody having their hands on the little fencing sword. The fencing.
Yes.
The fence.
The
on the
sword.
fence.
Yes.
On
Just
the
on
fence.
a sword. That's
On
all
the
you need to
fence.
say. They're on the fence.
On the fence with Janny Fencer.
I'm Janny Fencer. Thank you for bringing up my program.
I didn't think it was a
heard
real
about-
program.
I was on my way to pick up the kendo, and I heard you say my name, and I figured I'd call in
Yeah.
on the fencer.
You're going to
I'm
get the
Janny
kendo.
Fencer. Yeah, I am.
What's
Are
your
you
show
kendo
about?
nuts? Of course I am.
That tagline's taking off so fast. Sorry, really quickly. What's your show?
I'm on the fence with Janny Fencer.
What is it?
It's you literally sit in the middle of a fence, and then we give you an issue, and you got to jump to one side or the other.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool.
Actually, not bad.
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning my program.
You're
I'll
welcome.
leave it with you, Janie. Out.
You're gonna leave the program with us?
Do we get the
I
free
think,
get
I think
it?
Janie meant leave the show.
Oh.
Leave the show with
Oh.
I'll leave it I'll take my
Take
answer
it
off
off
the air.
off,
That's
yeah.
right. Yes.
Right.
First time, long
Um,
time.
The person in the picture on the fencing,
Yeah.
on the fence, is Tom's dad. What? Tom's dad is there? This is crazy. Then some more
Kendo
people.
nuts.
Then some more shenanigans happens. One, that detective, remember, detective's dad who was there.
Yeah.
He gets shot in the arm, and then a woman is found outside. She's on. In
What
the
was she
snow.
doing out there?
She's dead.
Okay.
She's dead hard. And
Faceplant?
Faceplant. And they
Dead hard.
look at her and they go, I can tell you right here and right now, that's not somebody who fell hard. That's somebody who was strangled hard.
Yeah.
They died hard.
Held a little
It
too
was a
hard.
die-hard
That's
situation.
exactly right.
Sure
Um,
was.
so, luckily, Goldie finds her way into secret zones.
Yes.
And we all know that. We know the secret zones. She finds a bed. She finds orange jumpsuit. That's for jail times. And then all of a sudden, Tom's dad is there.
Secret zones and jail times.
Yeah. Tom's dad is there and is like, hey, little lady. Tom also finds the secret zone real fast, comes up and is like, Dad? And then Goldie takes that opportunity to, upon Tom seeing his dad for the first time in 20 plus years, knocks
Punch
him
him.
unconscious. And so that's good. So, what's going on here? What are we to do? There's still some things that seem very suspicious, some things that feel odd. And so what better way to figure out who done it than a little Scrabble? Goldie does a little Scrabble thing, and she realizes she has a big realization in this moment. They all come together. They all bring all their stuff, and they... one other bit of information that I forgot to write down was that Alistair, his books had been cooked. And the person who the books were cooked, that was the guy that was
The jester.
Killed back yonder.
Oh, okay. Got
Yes.
it. Still back up.
But the jester was
working.
Back
He had
yonder,
hired
sure.
him.
Yes. And so we find that out that's who that was, and so obviously there's some stuff there. So they bring everybody in. They're like, we know who done it, and it's Detective Dad.
Yeah, it is.
The dad, and so apparently there was one other big piece of information is that.
Is this a kind of synopsis?
No, listen up. So there was a
Question
crooked
of synopsis.
There was a crooked
I'm going to
cop.
talk for a while. There may have been some plot in here.
There
We
was
don't know.
there was a crooked cop, and it was him, and he worked, and then they planted some evidence to point it all at the direction of Tom's dad.
He didn't actually do anything wrong.
Didn't actually do anything wrong.
20 years of his life lost.
That's exactly right. And so he shot himself to make it seem like somebody was after him. He showed up that day because he heard that Alistair had actually helped Tom's dad get out of prison
And was gonna
reveal
reveal
everything. Yeah,
everything.
was going to reveal everything. He tries to get him to stop, and it's at this point that Alistair tells him, "Hey, I'm running out of time." AKA, he was dying, which was a pretty big deal. And so when he finds out, hey, everything's going to basically come out, he comes out behind him, grabs the sword, the fencing sword, the fence, stabs him right in the back, and there you go. Bob's your uncle. Now, all this seems pretty circumstantial, and he points
Bob
it out
was
as
there?
well. And that's when he lets out a bit of key information that they had not revealed yet, which is that he stored his gun in a grandfather clock. They were like, we didn't tell you it was in the grandfather clock. There's your proof.
just offered
Proof's
that.
in the pudding. FBI shows up. They arrest him. And Goldie and Tom are talking. Obviously, Tom's going to do some catching up with his dad, so they're going to cancel their date that they had planned. So she's like, hey, I guess we got to postpone this here date. And he's like, yeah, but we don't got to postpone this. And they kiss big ones, baby. And that, my friends, was Curious Caterer Foiled Plans.
We did it.
What's up, baby boos? We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to break this movie down here on Deck the Hallmark. On the fence.
Insane.
Are you sure we didn't get the show? Get the rights to
I'm
the show?
pretty sure we didn't get the show. What's
gonna
weird
leave
to
the
me
show with
that,
you.
that wasn't
She said it
described by
weird.
Janie. She said it weird according to you. Is that what you said
Yeah.
she did? Okay.
Not.
Janie's last name is Fencer.
Yeah.
And that didn't come into play at all.
No.
On the Fence seems like a show that could have been created by anyone.
Right.
Their last name happened to be
They
Fencer.
clearly
Right.
had a thing for names that are
Yes.
involved
Yeah.
in multiple ways.
Very on brand.
Yes.
It's time for the hot take. It's where we share exactly how we felt about this movie. We do not hold back, and I'm going to throw it to my personal court gesture. I'm going to throw it to Brian. Brian, what'd you think?
Thanks, man. I liked the locked room aspect of this. Haven't had that in a while. I liked the all-in-one night aspect of this. Very kind of a challenge, but also must be fun for the crew to not have to be doing too many location changes and costume
Saves
changes.
money.
Big time, I'd say. I liked, this is my, if you will, quote unquote kink, if you will. I
Dude, please,
liked
Lee
how
Hodo, if you're alive, if you don't have
now
that,
is the time.
now's the time, man.
That was it, Lee. I liked how people used to announce
Of course,
the
Brian
guests-
explains his kinks with air quotes.
as you guys, these common folk call them, how people, as they arrived at the party, they were announced. How I feel like that is underused. Like we should bring that back.
I don't know if I can sit next to you.
We should bring that back. You show up and you're announced at the party, and everybody, My only thing with it was I would get such little applause. It would be brutal. It'd be embarrassing. I'd have to show up.
We would ahead of time
close
make
to
sure
the-
you got
the
none.
silent.
Right?
It's when the rookie hits his first home run.
Yeah,
and
yeah, they all
ignore him
sit
in
in the dugout for sure. Yeah.
Except it would just be for real.
Yeah.
The sound design was really good. It was very
Really?
yeah. I had headphones on for a part of this because I didn't want to wake up. I was watching it at nighttime and I didn't want to make any noise. And I had it on, and you can hear the cold air outside in the background of the scenes. It sounded very.
You can hear the
good.
breathing of the guy
hiding in the ducks there. So they did a.
There was a bit of a when there was that clanking sound.
Yep.
That was very dim, and then she went into the secret room, and it was the
yeah. So they
trick.
actually paid special attention to that, and it came across to me. And I got to commend Mr. Andrew Walker. full fat, as I call him, because they call me Andrew Walker Light. We call him full fat Andrew Walker.
Full fat.
Full fat Andrew Walker. yeah, just full fat. Andrew Walker went pretty easy on the.
Just go ahead and say that again.
No,
on
I
video.
would, no, we don't have to.
What do you want to call Andrew Walker?
He's the man. Andrew's
No.
the man.
You called him full fat.
I call him full fat because they call me Andrew Light, and so full fat and
You
like the
proud of
real
yourself?
deal. Yeah, I think he'll like that joke too.
Okay.
I think it goes without saying. Who's the winner in that scenario?
Yeah, full fat Andrew Walker.
The kiss was like Andrew holding back, and out of respect for the dead, I have to commend Andrew for holding back a little bit on that kiss because that could have gone on forever.
Well,
they could have.
The kiss started to get going as they faded to black.
Yes, and they could have just pulled the
Yeah.
shot back like they've done before, and he's just kissing under the moonlight for eternity. But he showed a little restraint.
Restraint
and
there.
that was a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, really, I enjoyed it. Good stuff. They did a good job on this one.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I liked it too. It was unique. To your point, the fact that it all happened in this castle was pretty cool. Luckily, the castle's massive, so you had enough to play with, which was cool. Intriguing characters. I didn't guess who did it, which is nice.
Same.
I had my thoughts, but it really could have been any one of them because he was such a hated person, and I thought that the person that it actually was pretty cool. And I like the little explaining at the end with the revealing of the shots and it's in black and white. And like I like that that trope when they do these in mysteries, and so it was cool. And I'm happy anytime I get to see Andrew and Nikki on screen together. I'm a happy camper, and so the fact that we're now at the point in this here saga where they're actually going to be together, that's nice. I'm excited. Dan?
Yeah, this is the best of the Curious Cater movies, in my opinion. I think they figured out exactly what we want to see here. Get a lot of time with Nikki and Andrew together. That's A. B, you have like a bottle episode kind of thing going on. C, you start getting some personal information with his dad. That comes to fruition really well. Is it a little overly complicated? Sure. Yes, it is. Are there too many red herrings and just some obvious like plot to chew through? Of course there is. But you get the kiss. You get a fun twist. I was completely thrown off the trail until dude shows up with a shot in his arm and no one saw it but him, and he says it was like, at that point you start to go, okay, that's a little too obvious. So they show their hand a little bit, but before then I had no idea. I had no idea for basically the first hour of this movie what was going on. In fact, I was very confident it was not him. I told Brandon that early on. So there's enough here to where I think it's the best of these movies. And I think it's the best for all of those reasons. It was fun. I didn't have any issue with it.
You don't have any issues with it?
I mean, I didn't love it, but I think
didn't have any issues with it.
I think that of those movies, this one was the best one.
Yeah. It's time for all the feels. We were talking about what this movie gave us as feels. Brian.
Yeah, this was a next level murder board, I think. It feels like in this series, they are just competing with themselves for creativity around the murder board. And this was a really cool one. The drawings, the background, which was like a rug, I think, or something like that. It looked very cool. And it's sort of like they are in on the joke a little bit, like they're going a little wild with it. And I can't wait to see what they do for the next.
I appreciated after the first movies murder board. I appreciated what they did here.
Yes.
I thought that was like a winking, like
Definitely.
if you've been following with us the whole time, I think you really like
it was
this.
so I love how they're carrying that through.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, and to that point, when she has to draw one of the characters herself,
little
and it's
stick
really
figure.
bad. That's very funny.
Yes,
It
you're
made me
right.
laugh. Someone in the chat who was it, Summer, pointed out that I can't believe medieval breachers were good for Brandon, and there's a simple reason, and it's Andrew Walker. Andrew Walker in medieval garb was wonderful.
I mean, come on.
And especially when we put on that like cloak to go outside.
Yeah, the cape.
Was adorbs and big fan of that. Andrew Walker, you can do no wrong. Dan?
I appreciated, weirdly enough, Lachlan Monroe, who's in all of these movies. He is Nikki DeLoach's, Goldie's ex-husband. He is a doctor, orthopedic surgeon. And in this movie, he has to examine several dead bodies. And instead of it being this thing where because he's doctor, he can go and just do whatever any doctor would do, they make a point of using some very dark humor to point out that he's uncomfortable with this. And I just don't think older Hallmark movies would have done this, but it's really funny. Like, for us to have a scene where this guy has to look at a dead body and be uncomfortable and us get laughs out of it. I never expected it in a Hallmark movie, but I laughed several times when he was doing an autopsy on these dead bodies, and I didn't expect it. So I appreciated that out of this movie.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back with the Wait What and the What the Hallmarks here on
Deck the Hallmark.
We're back. We're talking about Curious Caterer foiled plans. Let's get to the Wait What is what we're talking about. When this movie made us go, wait, what? Right.
Yeah. There was a secret door, which was great. A nice touch always. But that thing spun so fast. Like, she was on that thing, and you have to hold on to get to the other side of that thing. And so I just don't think they should go that fast. But I guess
I'm
a big
against
secret.
fast secret
A little
doors.
too
For all
fast.
the secret
I'm
door,
Brian Harold. Vote for me.
for all
That's
the
a
secret
promise.
door makers out there, slow it down a bit.
Or have
Pump the
a
brakes.
setting where you can control
Yeah.
some. It's just
Have
fast.
Have a setting.
And then
Your
she
secret
was
doors should have settings.
Yeah. It's
the
fast,
least you
medium,
could do.
slow.
Yeah.
And then when she was in there, they hear each other through the wall, and I just feel like a secret room should be at least
Should be
soundproof.
soundproof.
Like you should
Probably be good.
Yeah, that's
Have you thought a lot about that?
see now. Yeah, I guess I'm showing my cards a little bit here. So
Someone announces
slow.
you walking into a secret room. Forget about it.
No, man.
That's your whole
Yeah,
day.
yeah. That thing slowly opens up.
Oh my gosh.
In that case, you don't need it to be soundproof. You need everybody to hear that. The castle, I forget his name. His the guy who, like, worked the door, or maybe he made the name announcements. Somebody asked for the blueprints. Klaus went for the blueprints, and before I could even take a deep breath, he was back with the blueprints.
Yeah.
Like, you got to keep your castle
Really
blueprints
fast.
like at arm's length, I guess. You just keep those handy.
Always know what the blueprints are.
Gotta have them. And then at the end, the confession while in handcuffs being led to the police car, just basically rolling out your entire confession when talking to your son, is just, you're building a tough case for your representation.
There's a reason you have a right to remain silent.
Yeah, you should use that sometimes.
You should use
especially
that.
in that case.
Yes.
So it was just a weird spot for him to just confess. That's it.
I only have a couple. One, I don't know why I found it so funny, but the fact that his dad calling him Tomster was such a big part of this movie made me laugh multiple times. Tomster. And the guy,
sense if his name was literally anything else.
And-
Timster, Billster, Bobster, Tomster.
The Thompson.
and like the fact that the court jester,
Call you Tomster.
the court jester was in prison with Tom's dad.
Yes.
And I guess he would
Tomster Senior.
always
Tom Senior.
He would always
Tom Sir.
He would always talk about his son and call his son Tomster.
Yeah.
And so the court jester just couldn't control himself.
couldn't do it.
I get
when he
that.
said Tomster under his breath.
Tomster? Oh, no.
I know that's a
I thought we were
nickname
all calling him that.
that only your dad uses for you, but man, yeah, sometimes you just
That means that his dad talked about him so much in prison, only saying Tomster.
Tomster. Yeah. Forget about it. Last but not least, a big part of this movie is this selfie with Tom's dad, Tomster Senior, Tom Sir in the background, and when they start to explain what happened and how the murder happened, I'm like, I wonder how they're going to explain the selfie and why Tom Sir was holding the murder weapon. And the reason is after the murder, Tom Sir went and he grabbed the sword, obviously, to do something with it.
I think because he caught him.
He thought he was going to get framed again.
Yes. So he was
as
going to
evidence.
But what this means is, because this happens immediately afterwards, he's like sees this happen and he goes and he tries to grab the sword. That means that these two kids were taking a selfie immediately after a murder took place.
Oh, that's
They're
true.
like,
Yeah.
selfie.
Guy collapses. They're like, you want to go out there and take a selfie? You want to take a selfie real quick?
Hallway's empty.
Which is great. Dano? If ever there was a time to do it, it would be when everybody's in there looking at the dead guy. We've got to get this selfie
The
down.
lighting is perfect.
I believe, and I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure you will, that of these four movies, this is the third Goldie Berry catered event where a murder has occurred during the event.
You're
at
wrong.
the premises.
You're wrong.
If that is the case, I would rather live in Hannah Swenson's town than have Goldie Berry cater one of my events? Why would you hire her to cater one of your events?
Go to Would You Rather.
I mean, I just
Like, go ahead, Aaron. Aaron has thoughts.
Isn't it only the second?
the grill one definitely has one.
No, the grill, she lights it up after.
She lights it up and they're already murdered, but she discovers the murder there. What's the first one? Isn't the first one at one of her events?
It's at the teacher's thing, but she dies on the way home.
The wedding one is the only one I remember there not being a body where she was catering something. They're discovering bodies where she's catering.
Well, no, she discovered in the first one the woman is driving home, so she's
Okay.
like she had left the event.
So they discover a body where she caters in the second one, and they do it at this one.
Yeah,
So two of the four.
Yeah, and the grill one was after the event was over.
Yes. But he was in there. He was folded up in the grill, and
You're
then it
wrong.
exploded, right?
No, they
Feels
exploded
good, huh?
and killed the woman.
Explosion
Exploded.
happens after.
The explosion happens after. But it was planted while she was there, right?
You keep trying, Dan.
No,
you'll
Look,
you
I
just
want to
keep
get
trying.
it right. I want to get it right. I'm
this
just
is
saying.
technically
My chances with Goldie Berry are still better than Hannah.
That Hannah Swenson, you think so? Just living in
She's
Hannah
had, like,
Swenson's
9
town.
movies.
Yeah,
And
but
if you know her
just
at all,
living in
you're
her
dead.
town. But living in her town, you don't have to know her. Just living in her town. I think it's close.
I don't. It's 4 to 9.
It's 4 to 9 movies to movies. That
She's
is
just getting
correct.
started, though.
Statistically
Goldie is
speaking,
less murdering.
there are less movies of one than the
I
other.
wonder if they'll ever
murders.
cross paths, the two.
Yeah, ooh,
Also,
ugh.
the law enforcement in Eden Lake just keeps changing.
I don't know which one that is.
Turnover.
That's
That's
Okay,
Hannah,
got it. Yeah,
The
that's true.
turnover
That's true.
there,
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah, the turnover in law enforcement is tough. We've had multiple sheriffs,
Yeah.
multiple police officers. Whereas,
So the
Tomster-
woman,
Tomster
Summer
has been
says
stable.
the woman is eating stuff that from her catering that someone poisoned. So I included that one.
Can't
in
have
there.
that.
I thought it was a drink. They poisoned her drink.
Either it was something from that party.
Consuming,
I don't know.
yeah.
I've watched these one time. In my head, they happen at every one. Clearly, we hear a half dozen times. Say what?
I'm thinking about it again. I think it was cookies
Yes.
from the event.
Yeah. So that one counts. We hear half a dozen times in this
guy.
movie.
This guy you give me.
We hear half a dozen times in this movie that there is no Wi-Fi and no cell signal. Half a dozen, 6 times. And for the life of me, I'm thinking there's going to be a big plot point at the end of this movie that relates to the fact that there is no cell signal and no Wi-Fi. There isn't. It's just a red herring where everyone has to mention it over and over again that there's no Wi-Fi or cell signal. And what a red herring it is, because they say it a bunch in this movie. Doesn't matter. Never comes back. Nobody cares. The only time it matters at all is when they're calling 911 and they have to go find a landline. That's it. The rest of the time, it just doesn't matter. This dad leaves his jumpsuit
Yeah.
on his bed. He has an orange jumpsuit. If this guy negotiated to get him out of prison, he probably would have changed clothes before he left the prison, right? But in this movie, in the secret zone, where the door moved too fast, he has changed out of his jumpsuit where he has decided to lie it to make sure it doesn't get any wrinkles. You don't want to get your prison jumpsuit with any wrinkles.
You got to return it the way it was
Yeah,
given to
he's
you.
got to
nice and
lay
clean.
it down on the bed. That's what he's got to do, which didn't make any sense at all in this movie. And then the dude who owns this house has gold bars just sitting out of his house.
In the secret room.
In the room, he has just
Yeah.
gold bars on top of the desk.
Yeah.
You know, where else would you put them? Secret room? Safe? No.
That's what it's for.
Gold bars. But my favorite, least favorite line in this movie is clearly when they go down to another secret room where there's a pool table. They all hang out to stay chill. Locke Monroe says, even a billionaire needs a man cave. No. No. Even a billionaire does not need to carve out 200 square feet to have his own time. Literally, that's a billionaire's whole life.
And then he says,
they have
"Rack 'em."
houses that are man caves. The idea that you need to carve out a little space for you time
You time.
is crazy. It's just crazy. That's all I got.
It's time for what the Hallmark story. Wonder what could have been. Brian?
Yeah. Aaron, did you watch this movie? But, okay. So this is not a feels, but something that I don't think connected with these guys that maybe you and I heard differently. You know, the next morning when everything's getting settled and you hear the snowplows beeping outside, did that bring back like some nice winter memories? Like I heard that. I go, oh, the plows are out there.
I did. I was
Do you
like, oh,
guys
they're good
catch
now.
that at all?
Didn't even hear
I
it.
heard it, but
Yeah,
it did do.
dude,
didn't do
that
anything for
sound
me.
is like
No, I knew
not
that sound.
triggering, but like, oh yeah, I know that sound. That's the morning after a storm. You know, maybe you lost your power, maybe you didn't. The plows are out there. It's like everything is like snow day type of thing. Like just that. I just thought of that. I meant
Yeah.
to mention that to see if you caught that because
Isn't
I
that so
heard
cool?
it was just it's such a funny little thing. My real what the
Man,
whole
when I hear
is,
trash trucks, I just freaking.
You mean when you're talking to Alonso? Yeah, very different
Different
sound.
beep?
Very different.
Okay.
totally different.
Yeah, totally.
Different. It's a different
It's
beat.
after the storm. You know what's going on out there. Where did all those fencing kids go? They were all there, right? Fencing.
Yeah,
had a
all those
competition,
kids.
And
You're
they're
right.
just not like were they just
I guess
locked
they
up?
didn't have to stick around for the party,
But
right?
nobody
They weren't
wanted
there
to-
for practice.
Questioning, because when they moved to the man cave, like 6 of them moved
Are
to the man
still
cave.
there.
Yeah.
So is everyone else just has to stay in the dining room?
Yeah.
I'm assuming the kids were also forced to, why they couldn't go play pool. I don't know.
Just they were
Where half
just
the party
nowhere to
went
be seen.
overnight
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other detective does sniff someone's hair in this movie.
Yep.
Goldie Berry's
Yep.
friend, assistant, whatever.
Thought we'd get there.
And like no one really talks about it. And
Nobody
it was-
thinks it's weird.
Yeah, and like even her, like she's just kind of like, yo, you're so silly. Why did it happen? Why? Because like that's weird. Because of a lot of reasons, and like. So like we're in a weird spot because I actually liked the two of them. I thought they had good chemistry together, and now I'm in a tough spot because I don't really know.
Because he sniffs hair.
Because he sniffs
and
hair.
talks about it.
And
Yeah.
So like, what are you guys gonna do about that? Like, where are you guys kind of at on that one?
It was weird, man.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It was weird.
So like,
It's a weird one-off.
like we hate them now?
Yeah, it's tough
guess.
to
I wish
really
he'd
be in his
explain.
camp for sure.
Just like to hear what he was thinking there.
Yeah,
For sure.
I don't know. I just
Oh, it was no big deal?
No big
well,
deal.
they've been flirting for weeks now. Like they flirted the whole last movie.
I know.
So yeah, it's weird. He probably like didn't mean to do it, but she got like he leaned in and was like, "Oh, she smells really nice."
Oh,
didn't mean to do it.
That's why
accidentally?
he's kind of like.
That's
"Oh, I
where,
didn't-"
as a human being, you don't say the thing out loud that I sniffed your hair.
You'd be fine with it?
I mean, if I had been like going back and forth, she's like, "All right, well, just ask me out already." If he didn't ask me out after this, now it's weird and we're never speaking again. But like,
Yeah.
so we'll see where this goes. But
Okay.
I feel like that was the
Yeah.
time,
That was it.
though.
yeah, he should have asked out there. Like, if he doesn't ask out within the next
done
24
something,
hours,
yeah.
he is gone.
It was a very
Clock's ticking.
Yeah.
Clock's
Cat
ticking,
Lesotho in the
everybody.
chat. It was a very pronounced sniff. I think
It
that was
was.
half my problem. Was the sniff itself was.
Well, I wonder at first they did it and like you couldn't tell, so they were like,
It wasn't, if it was like if it was
Get
just
in
like what you described is like a happy accident. Like
Yeah,
somebody,
like
yes,
I'm at your level, and I smell your hair, and I'm like, oh, I think to myself, it's good smelling hair.
Yeah.
But this was a thing
full
for him.
eyes closed situation.
This was a thing for him.
Yeah.
yeah, I would have loved to see the first take on
Yeah.
that.
yeah. He's like, you sure? Yeah. There you go. File it out.
Woo! That's good hair. Woo!
Philo.tv/DTH.
No, that made me
That
uncomfortable.
wasn't weird. That was fun.
That wasn't
Oh, so
weird.
that makes
it
you
was an
uncomfortable.
accident.
That makes you uncomfortable.
Aaron, it was an accident.
Well, because you and Brian do not have a will they, won't they relationship.
But they know each other. They're friends.
I beg to differ,
That's a
actually. I
little
think there's a
offensive,
bit
Aaron.
of
A little bit of will they, won't they?
a little bit at least.
After that sniff, are you kidding me right now?
Gosh.
Got to at least talk about it.
So earlier when you introed with, or coming back from a break when you were like, baby boos, it was plural. And you used to say that baby boo was only Caitlin.
That's true. And you said baby boo's plural. So that is
Give it a little bit away.
Wow.
Wow. It is
I guess
Wow.
I'm inadvertently showing
No
my
more
cards.
secrets
I'm inadvertently
here.
showing my
Yeah,
cards.
Oh boy! Whoa! Oh boy!
My
Did I move my
cards.
hand there
I take it back.
accidentally.
Dan?
Yeah, this may have been answered. If he got him out of jail by calling in a favor, that's Alistair got Walker's dad out of jail by calling in a favor. Is that how we understand that?
It was still not above board.
It was not above board.
That was my understanding. He like bribed a guard.
He bribed a guard
Yes.
to get him out of jail.
Correct.
So now they are not going to tack on, because at the end of this movie, they say he's got to go back to jail, but he'll be out soon.
Yeah.
They have to tack on escape from prison to his sentence.
Well, he was framed, wasn't it? The determined that he was framed?
Yes.
For the murder?
So what are they going to just say? Time served.
You're on a
and
sticky
he's-
wicket there.
'cause
You-
he's time served, yes, but this is a separate new
Right, breaking
crime.
up.
It shouldn't
Yeah.
have been there anyway. It's
But
sticky.
you can't use the time. Look, I don't want him to go back to jail. He shouldn't. You know how I feel about prisons. I'm just saying
Loves him.
this. Yeah, big fan.
More prisons.
This guy
He wants to move into one.
It's
is
not enough.
20 years on a sentence he didn't deserve,
Yeah.
but he has now committed a brand new crime.
Yeah.
This is a problem, right? It's not okay. He's gonna go back to court.
Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think that's what happened. Yes, I do think that he was snuck out. Aaron, is that what you understood
Yeah.
it as well? You're usually right.
Thank you. I
Usually.
understood it that they had
Sense the
bribed
sarcasm in
Degard.
that?
Yes.
You guys have a lot of issues with my tone today, and I'm beginning to think it's
I don't
a you
have
problem.
any issues with your tone. I think your
pick
tone's
up on
above
that?
board. None at all.
Or I guess it was Bran and then Brian, so they clearly talk about it when they hang out together.
Can you stay out of our personal life, please?
Yeah,
For
butt out.
once.
Yeah, they bribed a guard. They let him out the side door.
So escape prison. He
He
escaped.
should not have like because it was right before his parole. So I don't know.
Yeah,
If
and
I was
they-
Alistair,
But
I
did
would've
he
just left
sneak
him in
out,
jail.
or did someone open the door?
But
And he
also-
goes, "This is a tough spot
It
for me
doesn't
to be
matter.
in."
He literally, I don't know if you know this, but they keep pretty good accounting on those prisoners.
I mean, even if someone opens the door, he chose
He
to
escaped.
walk out.
Yes,
Like,
it is a crime.
Maybe he
What he did is a
thought.
crime.
Maybe he thought they were letting him out. They were like,
Yeah.
oh, "This is dope
in
of
the
them."
middle of the night.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the middle of the night, in my jail, someone's gonna let me out. Hey, hey. We'll work on it.
We were singing two different songs, I think. There.
I was singing
Billy,
the Swift
Billy
ones,
Joel,
yeah.
I was.
Oh, you were singing River of Dreams.
Yeah,
I like that
absolutely.
better.
Yeah, 100%.
In the middle of the night.
Go walking in my.
All right, we're done. We're done here. We're done. We're done. We'll be back tomorrow until another. May we first wish you a
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.